Hey guys, got another video for you. Today's video is going to be about patience. But before we talk about patience, want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been subscribing, who's been commenting. I always want to start the video out with a big thanks because we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. So super grateful for you guys, each and every one of you. Thank you. So let's talk about patience. And I should preface this video with, I have no patience. I'm the most impatient person you're going to meet. So you're probably thinking, why are you making this video that is talking about patience? Also, my parents are working in the yard, so you can probably hear that. But I have had a lot of realizations lately about patience. Not that I can be patient. Don't confuse those. I'm not saying I can be patient. I'm not there yet. But I've had a lot of realizations about patience, a lot of thoughts that I thought were maybe worth sharing. So, what is patience to me? What does patience mean? I have kind of come up with a good idea, a good definition of what I think patient means. And I think being patient means that no matter where you're at in your life, you're there. You're not thinking of something else. You don't let the desire and the wants of the future, whatever it is you want, whether it's a car, a house, just anything, it doesn't matter. Insert whatever you want here. You don't let that take away from where you're at. In other words, love the heck out of whatever you've got. Whatever you have going on, love it, right? So even if you have a job that you hate, and that sucks, we're all going to have that at some point, there's other things about your life that you can focus on and love. Love them so much. Love that you've got a clean bed, that you've got kids, that you've got a husband or a wife or a best friend or anything like that. That takes away from those impatient thoughts of, but I want this and I want it so bad. And that's normal. It's okay to have wants. And that's another thing that a big realization that I've had is being patient is not forcing yourself to not want stuff. It's not that you're ever going to reach this point of, I'm totally patient. I don't want for anything. I'm totally happy where I'm at. That does not exist, guys. And if you can do that, hey, kudos to you, because I don't know that I'll ever be able to be patient, even if I'm 80 years old. But it's not making yourself be that way. It's being all right with where you're at and being willing to wait. What helps you with being willing to wait is really dig into whatever you've got, wherever you're at. So if you don't like that job, focus on other stuff. Really look forward to when you get to come home if you have hobbies or whatever you do. For me, I am impatient. It's hard to make myself see those things and feel those things when I see something in front of me that I want so bad, but yet I can't have it. And then I think, well, why? That's not fair. But that's life. Realizing that life is not always fair is another thing that will help you be patient. Because it's not that the world's out to get you, and it's not that you shouldn't have good expectations of what you want, but sometimes having lots of expectations can make you more impatient. I think everyone's going to struggle at some point with being impatient because we have these things that we want and that we desire. And speaking of desire, two other kind of realizations I've had is that a lot of the times impatience comes from extreme desire from the future, which I've already kind of talked about, which a lot of the times means you're not that happy where you're at. And if you're not that happy where you're at, then you can say, okay, I'm not happy. What's going on here? What can I do to make me happy? But also fear. I think impatience, a lot of impatience comes from just fear of the future, of what can happen, what will happen. And sometimes fear can be tied up in you feel really hopeful about something and you're scared that it won't work out and you're going to be let down. And that's, I would say, where a lot of my impatience comes from. And that's normal, but you have to find a way to cope with these feelings, or at least I try to, or they'll drag you under. And I think so much around being patient, around dealing with anxiety, depression, any of these type things, all have to do with mindfulness. It's all about how you look at it, you think about it, your attitude, these realizations. And for me, I also think about it like, if my brain is powerful enough to spin up all these things that make me impatient or anxious or any of these things, then it's powerful enough to undo that. And it really is. I think I talked a little bit about that in one of my other videos, and I'll put the link in this video so you can see that. But being patient doesn't mean that you don't deserve to have what you want. It just means you have to wait for it. It's kind of like the saying, hurry up and wait. And I hate that. I'm the world's worst person to wait. I want to bang my fist and cry like a baby when I have to wait for something that I want. But if you sit back, you look at what you have, you get really involved in that. You don't think about the future. You don't worry about the future. You just think, I'm going to do what I love right now. So maybe that's, I've got a new Netflix show that I like. I'm going to go watch it and eat some popcorn or eat pizza and just enjoy it and get totally lost in that. Or a hobby, whatever it is. But something that moves the attention away from this desire for the future of these things I want and keeps you where you're at. Really digging into what you have, because the old saying is totally true. That if you always want what you don't have, then you'll never want what you do have. And I think that is totally kind of a humanistic problem maybe that we all have, is that we will find some way to not be happy about something. I have noticed that about myself lately, and it drives me nuts. I'll get what I want, and then I'll think, yeah, but I don't know, I could do more, I could have more, that's crazy, right? We got to take a minute and just look at where we're at. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for the progress, Even with this YouTube account, we've been able to post more in the last several months, and we've got all this traction. And it's amazing. You guys are amazing. But then sometimes I'll find myself thinking, well, maybe I could make more videos. Maybe I could do better. And how crazy is that, when my goal was to just post as many videos as I could and get some interaction going. So then why am I not pleased now? But it's impatience. It's desire for the future. It's, well, maybe someday I could make my living from this. But things take time. Good things take time. That's another realization. And I think we all kind of have heard that, but we have to really think about it. That good things are worth waiting for, even if it takes time. And I think we've all been able to be in that situation too, where sometimes things do not work out the way you think they're going to work out, and it seems so heartbreaking at the time. But then sometimes you look back and you're like, oh, thank God that didn't go how I wanted it to go. That could have been so bad. A good example of that, and then I'll end this video. Hope I'm not boring you guys. Good example of that is a couple years ago I went to buy a car. Me and Katie had shared the 4Runner that you've heard us talk about, and I went to buy a car. I looked and looked and looked and looked online and was very impatient and wanted a car right now. And so then eventually I went and looked at one at a car lot here locally. Found one I liked, took my dad, decided, yep, I want it. That was on Saturday. On Monday, I went back to the dealership, got the bill of sale, went back to the bank and said, I want to buy this. And they said, well, I'm really sorry, but we changed our financing rules as of a week ago. And I'm like, well, I was already pre-approved. And they're like, okay, that's probably fine. Let us go look. They looked. I was not pre-approved like I was supposed to be, or however that worked. And so I couldn't buy the car. And I was like, but are you kidding me? I had my heart set on this. I've looked. I tried multiple cars out. I was going to buy this. So that was on Monday. On Tuesday, I had someone helping me look for a car, someone who owned a different dealership. He called me and said, I have a car that you should go drive. My mom had already told me that I should go try it out because he had called before, and I was like, no, I didn't get what I want. That's not what I want. I'll wait. Wait impatiently. Then I went and drove it. Didn't like that one, but there was another one on the lot. Drove it and bought it. And so that was the same 48 hours, basically, and that's not how it always happens, but I was so mad that I couldn't get the first car. And then it turned out way better. The one I have now had way less mileage. It was cheaper, nicer. So a lot of the times, if things are not meant to be, they're not meant to be, even though that's hard. And then, of course, looking at it kind of from a biblical standpoint is God knows best. And when we think about patience, and think about the future, we can see just a few feet out ahead of us, but he can see our whole entire life in front of us. Can you imagine that? If someone had the playbook to your life and could tell you move by move what to do to give yourself the best life that you could possibly have? So, of course, a huge thing, or perhaps the biggest thing when thinking about patience for me, is just trusting that God will lead me and guide me. And if I pray for His will, then I just have to know I'm doing the right thing. Someone left a really nice comment on one of our recent videos, and it was kind of blew my mind. It spoke like straight to me, and it was about trusting God, and that if you do trust Him, then you're doing the perfect thing at the exact time, no matter what you're doing. If you even have a question, then you don't have to question, because you know God loves me, I'm doing the right thing. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video about patience. Hope some of that helped. Again, I am a really super impatient person, but having these realizations has kind of opened my mind to the path of maybe how I can learn to be patient. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, hope you got something out of it. If you did, drop a comment. Let me know if you like this content. We want feedback from you guys about what you would like to see. So hope that you enjoyed it, and we will see you at the next video.